My mom took out a second mortgage in my name while I was deployed overseas. I came home to an eviction notice and empty bank accounts. When I confronted her, she said, "You owe me for raising you." She closed the door in my face. I was homeless for 11 days before I found out something that would tear her whole life. I never thought I'd be 31, homeless, and betrayed by the only family I had left. I was a Marine. Did 11 years. That meant something to me. I wasn't the best student growing up, but I was disciplined, loyal, and didn't complain. I wanted to serve. I wanted to get out of my small town, Fayetteville, North Carolina. I figured the military would open some doors when I got out. My mom, Cheryl, raised me alone. My dad split before I turned 2. Growing up, she always reminded me how hard it was. I don't mean just the usual single mom stuff. I mean she made it a running theme in our house. Everything you got is because of me. I went hungry so you could eat. You wouldn't have made it past first grade without me. I thought it was just her way of being tough. I didn't really question it back then. I figured maybe she was right. I enlisted when I turned 18. Did basic, went through the usual. Got stationed all over. Kuwait, Iraq, Jordan. I wasn't a hotshot or anything. Just did my job and sent a chunk of every paycheck back home. I didn't spend much, no wife, no kids. I figured I'd save, and when I got out, I'd buy a place, start something of my own. A small auto shop maybe. Just something that didn't involve sand, heat, and waking up to explosions. I kept my money in a Navy Federal Credit Union account. I never used it except to transfer rent or put money in savings. I thought it was secure. During my last deployment, I was stationed at Muwafafak Salti Air Base in Jordan. Not the worst place. Wi-Fi was hit or miss, and we were running logistics during a rough season. Not combat, but still dangerous. I didn't hear much from my mom during those months. Maybe a call every couple of weeks. She'd ask how I was doing, say she was proud of me. I didn't suspect anything. She didn't ask for money. Didn't seem in trouble. Then I came back home. June 7th. I flew into Raleigh, took a bus down to Jacksonville, where I had been renting a place before I left. It was a modest 2-bedroom I shared with another vet who had since moved out. When I got there, the door was locked and chained, and there was a bright red notice nailed to the door. Eviction. It felt like a mistake. I had set up autopay. My name was on the lease. I was gone for 6 months. I paid ahead. I called the landlord. He said, "You haven't paid since February." We mailed everything. Got returned. I told him I had automatic withdrawals. He said nothing came through. I checked my phone, got on a hotspot, and logged into my bank account. My heart dropped. $38.26. That account had nearly $47,000 in it 6 months ago. At first, I thought it was a scam. Maybe someone hacked it. But the transactions weren't in Jordan. They were all from Fayetteville. Local withdrawals. ATMs, debit purchases. Stuff I never authorized. I went to the nearest Navy Federal branch. The manager was polite but quiet once she pulled up the footage from the ATM withdrawals. They had cameras. She asked me if I recognized the person. It was my mom. Clear as day. Using my card. I felt sick. She had been draining my account for months. But it wasn't just the account. I went through my credit report next. There was a mortgage under my name on her house. A second mortgage. Taken out 5 months ago. She forged my signature on everything. I drove to Fayetteville that night. My car barely made it. I hadn't eaten all day. I felt dizzy and raw. I didn't know what I was going to say. I just needed to understand. When I pulled up, her house looked freshly painted. New gutters. New front porch. She opened the door smiling like nothing was wrong. "Hey baby. You're home." I just stared at her. "Why did you take a mortgage out in my name?" Her smile disappeared. She didn't even try to deny it. "You're seriously gonna act like I didn't raise you? You think you get to keep all that money while I scrape by?" I couldn't believe it. "You forged my name. You emptied my account. You destroyed my credit." She crossed her arms. "You owe me. I did everything for you. I gave up my life. You think I was gonna wait until you decided to help me?" I tried to walk in. She blocked the door. "If you're here to yell, you can leave." And then she slammed the door in my face. I sat on her front porch for an hour. I had nowhere else to go. I slept in my car for 11 days. No shower. No real food. Just trying to figure out what to do. I had nothing left. Nobody back home I trusted. Nobody in the system who cared. Then Dre called. Dre was my old friend from high school. He let me crash on his couch. He asked what happened, and I told him everything. He looked surprised. "Wait, didn't your grandma leave you her estate?" "What estate?" "She died while you were overseas, right?" "She had land. A house. I remember because my cousin did some yard work for her before she passed. Said she was leaving everything to you." I froze. I started looking into it. Public records. Probate court filings. I didn't have a lawyer yet, but I knew where to look. It was worse than I thought. My grandmother had left her entire estate to me, not to Cheryl. She wrote a will and everything. Clear as day. Dated, notarized, filed in the county court. But my mom had never told me. She'd filed a new set of documents, with a fake will. She listed herself as sole heir. Claimed I was unreachable due to active duty deployment and no known address. She sold the land. Sold the house. Cleared over $180,000. It all went into her name. New SUV. Kitchen upgrades. A medical procedure I now believe was just cosmetic. She took everything. Not just the money. The inheritance. My credit. My trust. And I was going to take it all back, one piece at a time. I didn't tell my mom I knew about the inheritance. Not yet. I needed to be smart. I was broke. No credit. No address. No lawyer. If I confronted her too early, she'd just lawyer up and spin some story about how I was unstable or had PTSD. I wasn't just going to scream at her. I was going to bury her in the truth. First, I got my hands on the original will. The real one. It wasn't easy. I had to go to the county records office, and they gave me the runaround at first. But eventually, I got a copy. It was signed by my grandmother, dated 4 months before she died, and it clearly named me as the only beneficiary. Next, I pulled all the property records. My grandma's land was sold 6 weeks after her funeral. The buyer? A Shell LLC, registered under my mother's boyfriend's name. She was trying to hide the money. She wasn't just greedy. She was careful. I had to be more careful. I found a legal aid office that worked with veterans. I met with a woman named Marnie who took one look at the paperwork and said, "You've got a case. A big one." She helped me start the fraud and identity theft claims. It took time. I had to prove I wasn't involved in any of the decisions. Had to show deployment records, dates, anything that proved I wasn't around when the mortgage and inheritance theft happened. While we were building the case, I stayed quiet. I moved out of Dre's place and into a room above a garage some church friends offered me. I got a job changing oil at a local mechanic shop. It paid crap, but it kept me busy and under the radar. Then something happened that changed everything again. I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. It was a woman named Teresa. She said, I used to be friends with your mom. We had a falling out. I thought you should know, your mom's planning to move to Florida. She's talking about transferring the rest of her accounts and selling her house. Fast. That's when I knew she was running. She must have gotten spooked. I couldn't let her disappear with what was left of my future. I went straight to Marnie. We need to file an injunction, she said. Freeze the accounts. Put a lien on the property. Keep her from transferring anything. It was a long shot. But we got it done. That same week, I went to see her. She looked surprised to see me. Oh, you finally decided to come visit? I didn't say anything. I handed her the court order. Her eyes scanned the paper. She turned pale. What the hell is this? It's called consequences. You little bastard, she hissed. You think you can take me to court? I'm not just taking you to court. I'm taking everything you stole. She laughed. You really think a judge is going to believe some broke vet with PTSD over a mother who raised him alone? I didn't respond. I turned and walked away. 2 weeks later, the sheriff served her. Fraud. Forgery. Elder abuse. Identity theft. She tried to play victim. Claimed I gave her permission. That I was unstable. That I was violent. She even tried to say I was never close to my grandmother. But the evidence was strong. The real will. The forged mortgage forms. The video footage at the bank. Deployment records. Her fake LLC. And then, Teresa came forward. So did 2 of her neighbors. All of them testified that my mom bragged about taking what was owed and fixing things her way. It was enough. The court froze her accounts. Seized the house. And began the process of transferring the inheritance back to me, minus what had already been spent. She didn't go to jail, not yet. But the lawsuits aren't done. The state opened a criminal investigation. The mortgage company is suing her too. Her credit is destroyed. Her name's blacklisted. But the best part? She had to move out of the house. My grandmother's house. The one she stole and sold. And she didn't have anywhere to go. I heard she's crashing on a friend's couch. No car. No job. No savings. Everything she had was built on lies. Just like the life she tried to steal from me. I thought it was over. I had the court rulings, the house was locked down, her accounts were frozen. The sheriff had served her, and she looked scared for the first time in her life. But then I got a letter. No return address. Just my name, written in shaky cursive. Inside was a single sheet of paper. A handwritten note. You think you won, but you don't know everything. Ask your Aunt Rhonda what happened in 2007. That's when your life was really stolen. I hadn't spoken to Aunt Rhonda in years. She was my mom's older sister. They had a falling out when I was still in high school. All I remembered was that one day she stopped coming around. I tracked her down. Took a few calls. She was living just outside Asheville now. I asked if we could talk. She hesitated. If this is about Cheryl, I'm not getting involved, she stole everything I had. The house, the money, the inheritance. I just found out. And someone sent me a letter. Said you knew what happened in 2007. There was a long pause. You better sit down. We met the next weekend at a diner halfway between our towns. She looked older, tired, like life had been rough for a while. But the second she started talking, everything shifted. You were supposed to go live with me, she said. Back in '07. When you were 13. What? Your mom got in trouble. Big trouble. Child Protective Services was involved. You don't remember, do you? I shook my head. I remembered my mom getting fired from a job that year. I remembered a social worker visiting once, but she told me it was about school enrollment. I believed her. You were gonna be taken out of the house. I was going to take you in. Cheryl didn't want that. She got desperate. She forged documents, accused me of abuse. Said I was trying to steal you. She convinced the social worker to close the case. I sat there stunned. She lied to keep you, Rhonda said. Not because she loved you. Because she needed the child support money. And because she knew if you moved in with me, you'd learn the truth about your grandma. About the family money. About everything. You're saying she planned all this way before Grandma died? Everything. Your grandma knew how Cheryl was. That's why she left everything to you. But Cheryl always planned to take it. My stomach turned. It wasn't just recent theft. It was planned. 4 years. Since I was a kid. She'd been manipulating every part of my life, who I could talk to, what I could know, where I could go. She didn't just steal my money. She stole my childhood. She stole my family. I left that diner feeling like I didn't even know who I was anymore. That night, I filed to reopen the CPS case. I wrote a detailed affidavit and included Aunt Rhonda's sworn statement. I don't know if anything will come of it, but I had to try. The more people who knew what she really was, the better. Then something else happened. I got a call from an attorney in Charlotte. He said, "We represent the buyer of the land your mother sold under the fake will. Our client wants to know if you'd be willing to settle." Settle what? Your name is on the lawsuit now. If you win, our client loses the property. I laughed. You bought stolen land. That's not my problem. He said, they'll offer $75,000 to walk away. I told him no. That land was my grandma's. It was supposed to be mine. I wasn't selling out just because they wanted to build condos. And then I knew what I needed to do. I was going to fight for everything. Not just the cash. Not just the credit. I was going to take back the land. The house. My name. And I wasn't stopping until my mom was standing in the same shoes she left me in. With nothing. It took another 9 months for the lawsuits to wrap up. During that time, I stayed quiet. I worked. I saved. I lived cheap. I had a bed again. A roof over my head. It wasn't much, but it was mine. My mom stopped fighting after her public defender told her the chances of winning were almost zero. The mountain of proof was too high. She offered to settle it as a family, said she'd apologize if that's what I needed. But she wasn't sorry. She was sorry she got caught. She ended up with felony charges on her record, 3 counts of identity theft, 1 count of elder fraud, and forgery. The state cut a deal, no jail time, but 5 years probation, restitution payments, and a public record that'll follow her forever. Her credit was ruined. Her bank accounts emptied. Her house? Sold by court order. Some of the funds came back to me, about $97,000 after legal fees. The land? I got it back. The court reversed the sale and forced the buyer to take their loss. They were furious. But I didn't care. That 2-acre piece of dirt meant something. My grandma grew tomatoes there. I used to sit under that pine tree when I was a kid, dreaming about getting out. Now I own it. The house that was stolen from my inheritance was already gone. Bulldozed after the buyer defaulted. I thought that would make me feel better. It didn't. It just felt empty. I didn't walk away clean. My credit was still messed up for another year. I had to live cash only, couldn't get a decent apartment, couldn't get a car loan. I had nightmares. Not from combat, from her. From the look in her eyes when she said I owed her my life. She didn't come to the final hearing. She didn't say goodbye. She didn't write. I haven't seen her since. I heard from Teresa that she moved to Tampa. Lives in a room behind some guy's trailer. No car. No job. Just sits there most days, blaming everyone but herself. I used to think revenge would feel like victory. But it felt more like pulling a knife out of my own chest. I didn't get my childhood back. I didn't get my grandma back. I didn't get justice so much as I got even. But I'll tell you what I did get. I got my name cleared. I got my land. I got my future back. And she got exactly what she gave me. Nothing.